When a woman is being unfaithful, she doesn't always pull back or act distant. Sometimes, the women who are the hardest to catch do the exact opposite. They become more intentional, more careful, and far more subtle than most men ever expect. And that's why so many guys never see it coming. The clues aren't loud or obvious, they're quiet, controlled, and psychological. So in today's video, I'm breaking down 5 behaviors women use when they want to hide a betrayal right in front of you. Not the cliches, not the stereotypes, but the deeper patterns and emotional shifts that most men overlook until the damage is already done. Let's get into it. 1. The sudden, unusual sweetness. One of the earliest and most confusing signs is a sudden spike in affection. Not something that grows over weeks. Not something triggered by a deep conversation. It just happens overnight. It's like she flipped a switch. She becomes extra sweet, extra thoughtful, extra loving. She texts more, checks on you more, touches you more, tells you she misses you like she hasn't in months, maybe even years. At first, it feels amazing, like the relationship is waking back up. But when you sit with the feeling, something doesn't fully add up. Her affection feels intense but unstable, full but not grounded, as if she's pouring it onto you too fast, almost forcing it. This is where good men get fooled, because sometimes that sudden affection isn't coming from love, it's coming from guilt. Guilt creates internal pressure. It creates tension. It makes someone feel the need to balance what they're doing behind the scenes with kindness on the surface. So instead of pulling away, she leans in. She becomes warmer to distract you from what she is taking away. It's not connection, it's compensation. And guilt often makes people overcorrect. That is why you may experience the best version of her at the exact moment her loyalty is at its weakest. But here's the giveaway. Along with this sudden sweetness comes emotional inconsistency. Little things irritate her. Normal conversations suddenly feel tense. Small misunderstandings blow up into arguments. It feels like her affection is coming from effort, but her frustration is leaking from her real emotions. That split warm hands, restless spirit is one of the most telling signs. Your instincts pick up on the shift long before your mind can explain it. And once she establishes this illusion of closeness, she moves to the next phase. 2. She hides another man by making him look harmless. This is one of the smartest psychological moves, and most men don't recognize it until it's too late. When she doesn't want you to suspect someone, she doesn't keep him in the dark. She does the opposite. She brings him into the light and makes him seem completely innocent. It usually starts small. She mentioned a guy casually, without emotion. Oh, that's just Mark from work. He's cool. He cracks jokes. You'd like him? She sprinkles his name into conversation as if it means nothing, and that's intentional. The goal is to make him feel normal, ordinary, so your mind stops paying attention, and when something feels normal, it disappears from your radar. As time goes on, he starts showing up in small stories. A joke, a work moment, a random detail. Nothing dramatic, nothing suspicious. Just enough to blend him into the background of her life. That's where men get blindsided. The more familiar his name becomes, the less you think about him. So when she smiles at her phone, you don't question it. When she mentions him after work, he shrugged it off. When she's texting someone, you assume it's a friend. But here's the uncomfortable truth. People rarely cheat with strangers. They cheat with someone who feels safe, close, familiar. The guy she slowly made you believe was no big deal. And if you ever show the slightest discomfort or curiosity about him, her reaction becomes sharper, stronger, more defensive than the situation actually calls for. Not because you're wrong, but because you're getting too close. She might bring up another guy's name. Casually, so casually that it feels meaningless. Something like, oh, that's just Daniel from work. He's hilarious. You'd get along with him. It comes across as light, harmless, barely worth noticing. And that's the point. She introduces his name the same way someone might mention a neighbor or a coworker they barely interact with. It's soft. It's subtle. It doesn't hit your radar. Because the goal is simple. Make you familiar with him. until he feels completely ordinary. And once something feels ordinary, you stop tracking it. As time goes on, he begins showing up in little stories, inside jokes, funny moments, quick updates about work. Nothing dramatic, nothing suspicious, just enough to blend him into the background of her day-to-day life. And this is where a lot of men get blindsided. The more normal his name becomes, the less you feel the need to question anything. You stop noticing timing. You stop connecting dots, because she already trained your mind to see him as safe. So when she smiles at her phone, you shrugged. When she gets home late and drops his name in a joke, you don't think twice. When she texts someone, it doesn't even occur to you to wonder who it is. But here's the reality. People rarely cheat with strangers. They cheat with someone who feels familiar, comforting, emotionally close. Someone who's already been softened into your blind spot. And pay attention to what usually follows. The moment you show even a tiny bit of curiosity about him, her reaction shifts. Suddenly it's, why are you insecure? Why are you jealous of someone who doesn't matter? Why would you even think that? That reaction isn't about protecting him. It's about protecting a connection she doesn't want you looking at too closely. Her irritation isn't sparked by your question. It's sparked by the fact that you're getting near the truth. The brilliance of this tactic is how simple it is. She doesn't hide him by disappearing him. She hides him by making him visible. So visible that you stop looking anywhere else. 3. She only shows you the parts that look clean. One of the smartest ways someone hides something is by acting like they're not hiding anything at all. She gives you just enough access to make you feel calm, but never enough to see the full picture. She might scroll through her phone right next to you, reply to messages while you rebecede the air, or laugh at a text she knows is completely harmless. It creates the illusion of transparency. But it's not openness, it's curation. She shows you the clean parts, the friendly meme, the coworker message, the cousin's texts, the conversations she doesn't want questioned. Those never stay in the main inbox. They're tucked away in disappearing chats, hidden stories, alternate apps, archived threads, second accounts. She lets you see something so you stop searching for everything. And that's where the illusion becomes powerful. You start thinking, she's open. Nothing seems off. But what you're seeing is a controlled sample, not the whole truth. By the time you notice inconsistencies, the real conversations are already buried where she knows you. I never look. 4. Turning the pressure onto you eventually. The emotional strain she's carrying becomes too heavy, and rather than face it, she deflects it onto you. It starts small. You've been acting weird lately. Are you being totally honest with me? Something feels off with you. Then it escalates. You don't love me the same. You must be talking to someone else. I know you're hiding something. It's misdirection. She pushes guilt onto you so you get distracted trying to defend yourself. You start explaining things that never needed explaining. You start proving loyalty that was never in question. That's how men lose their grounding. Not because they're guilty, but because they start carrying emotions that never belonged to them. The more you try to calm her worries, the easier it becomes for her to hide whatever triggered them in the first place. 5. Dodging your questions by questioning you. This is the final layer, the last line of defense. You come with simple questions. Why didn't you answer your phone? Where were you? What changed in your story? Who were you with? But she never answers directly. Instead, she flips the spotlight back onto you. Why would you even ask that? Why don't you trust me? Why are you being so controlling? What's wrong with you lately? And suddenly, the entire conversation flips. Your concern disappears under your need to defend yourself. You end up apologizing for asking a reasonable question. That's how many men break, not because she proves innocence, but because she makes them doubt their own intuition. This isn't an emotional reaction, it's a tactic. Replace your clarity with self-doubt. And once you're doubting yourself, she can hide almost anything. The message, everything in this video isn't meant to make you paranoid or bitter. It's not an attack on women. And it doesn't mean every woman who acts this way is cheating. Human behavior is complex, but as a man, you owe it to yourself to recognize the difference between real love and performance, honesty and selective truth. Connection and distraction, use this as awareness, not fear. As clarity, not judgment. Because once you understand the psychology behind these patterns, you become the kind of man who cannot be blindsided.